read some interesting things about this thing because I did read it. I read my first thing because I was like, I really don't want to read it, but I'm going to because I want to see if any problems got through. Well, I found out on page 30 that there was a word like space, so it said wish and then es separately, and it was like, okay, that's kind of weird. So I was like, all right, I didn't know I would make that kind of mistake. So I was like, well, let me go onto my manuscript and I'll re-edit my manuscript and I'll resend it in because I thought I got everything. Well, apparently my manuscript is correct, and I haven't went through and looked at every other little problem I've seen, but I'm like, my manuscript is correct. So it's an Amazon issue, and it's not my problem. Well, it is my problem, but it was Amazon that did it, and like it messed up their stuff or whatever, and that's why there's some inconsistencies in here because Amazon's printing, I'm assuming. So I'm gonna have to go back in and maybe reformat it and see what happens, but as far as I know, I'm gonna try to fix it, but that's why there's a lot more problems in here than I originally noticed, because in my manuscript they're not there, and then Amazon printed them out and they're there, so it's not my fault. But it's really bothering me, so I'm gonna try to do it. I'm gonna like edit this thing and reformat it over the next few days, and I'm gonna try to get it up. So 50 good questions to ask an author. What literary privileges have you gone on? Okay, yes, okay, chill. All right. Okay, so, I don't know, a lot. I have written a lot of stories. I didn't actually look through these questions first. I should have done that. That way I know what I have to answer. Okay, all right, so, I'm gonna try to get through this as fast as possible because I do ramble a lot, so let's do that. Okay, so, literary privileges go on. We'll just say the one that's published. We'll say this. So, I've written one book, a world-building book in a series, so we'll just say that. What was the first book that made you cry? Probably like The Giver or something. I don't know. Most unethical practice in the publishing industry. The books that get through. I don't know. Does writing energize you or exhaust you? It energizes me. I get so excited. Okay, what are common traps for aspiring writers? I don't know. Maybe trying to follow like the trend? I don't know. Not the trend of writing, but like a writing trend. Like when Twilight came out, there were so many vampire books out because everyone's like, ooh, look, I've got a vampire book, read it. Instead of writing what they wanted to write, I guess. Does a big ego help or hurt writers? I don't know. I guess it depends. I mean, I guess it could hurt or help depending on the situation. I don't really know. What is your writing kryptonite? So, I'm guessing something that can defeat you. Sex scenes. I cannot write a sex scene to save my life. So, there you go. Have you ever gotten reader's block? Reader's block? What is that? Oh, is that when you're reading it? No, not really. Do you ever consider writing under a pseudonym? Oh, I don't even know what that is, so we're gonna skip it. Do you try more to be original or to deliver readers what they want? I try to write what I want to write. Because when I was younger and I used to write like stories in notebooks, I would write what I thought other people wanted to write, and the stories ended up being not like something I loved. So then I said, screw that, I'm gonna write what I want to write. So I decided to write about Roman mythology and elements and fun stuff. Do you think someone could be a writer if they don't feel emotion strongly? I don't know. I mean, I think it would depend on the situation, but I feel like you do have to be kind of connected to your emotions because you have to write a lot of emotions. I don't know. What other authors are you friends with? None. Want each book on it to stand on its own, or are you trying to build a body of work with connections between each book? Okay, I don't think this means series. I think this is kind of like Stephen King's book, how all of his books are connected. I think that's what they're meaning. Okay, so I don't really want that. I'm trying to make it to where each book stands alone. However, the series, I try to make them connect. I keep grabbing the books and I'm like, ooh, look at it. Buy my book on Amazon for $13.99. No, I'm trying to make each one to be able to stand alone, but I also be connected when it's in a series. But if it's a separate, I want each novel to be separated. unless I do have a few series I want to do and they're going to be like disconnected from each other, but they'll still be in the same universe. Like, then I want them to kind of go along with each other. Okay. Question number 14. If you could tell your younger writing self anything, what would it be? Stop writing about farm animals and gangs, please. That's all I used to write about. How did publishing your first book change your process of writing? It made, well, considering I only published one, it did make me like more aware of everything, and I'm working on the sequel right now, and I feel like it's turning out a lot better than the first one did. I don't know. I feel like, because then you like have this like this thing behind you, like, I gotta make it better than the last one because people are reading it. And yes, I actually have gotten sold of some, and I'm actually happy. A lot of it's like friends and family, but I'm still like excited. Okay. What was the best money you ever spent as a writer? The $30 to make this right here because I love it. Okay. What authors did you dislike at first but grew into? I've never disliked an author, ever. I don't have time to read anymore. If I didn't have an anime habit, then it probably wouldn't be so hard. Okay, what's in the bed? I can't stand it. What did you do with your first advance? Well, I haven't gotten a first advance yet because but if I did, it would probably just be saved, to be honest. What was an early experience when you learned that language had power? I'm not going to answer this one because this reminds me of those questions you had to answer in school. What are the most important magazines for writers to subscribe to? I don't know. Last magazine subscription I had when I was younger was 17 magazine. So, there you go. What's your favorite underappreciated novel? I'm looking up at the bookcase like, The Outsiders. I know it's like really famous, but it needs to be more famous. So everybody read The Outsiders, Bessie Hinton, please. It is amazing. How do you balance making demands on the reader when taking care of the reader? Okay, I don't really have this problem yet because I just started. But this means basically, how do you demand the demands of the reader with taking care of the reader? So that means like taking care of them by giving them what they want, mixed with the demands that they make. And I'm like, me personally, I want to write the one I want to write, whether they like it or not. It might seem kind of selfish, but I'm like, if I go to what you want, then I have to go to what everybody wants, and you know, and then it might mess up my outline. But like, I understand what they're saying, and usually, because I'm a major shipper and a major fangirl, so whatever they would feel like wanted to happen, I'm pretty sure I already want to happen as well, because that's how my brain works. Because major fangirl right here, major shipper. So trust me, if it went through someone's head, it's going through mine. As a writer, what would you choose as your mascot or avatar or spirit animal? I want a cat eating ramen. I don't know why. What do you owe the real people upon whom you base your characters? My imagination. The only character I kind of based off of somebody, well, actually there was two. I kind of based Minerva off of like Nina Dobrev. I don't know, I just kind of imagined her that way in my head. And Dusk was kind of based slimly, well, not really slimly, on my best friend Lisa. They've got the same appearance. They both have anemia. Like, it's, you know, she's kind of like, yeah, personality pretty similar. Very sweet, but pushy when she needs to be. Like, that's Lisa. And, like, Dusk is kind of based on her. I mean, I didn't assume it that way, but it happened by accident. Okay. How many unpublished and how published books do you have? Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, probably if I put everything in with the uncompleted, unpublished, and have works done, I probably have about 30, like, semi-completed, like, stories out there. Yet I still chose to do something that I didn't have done already to make it harder on myself. I don't know why I didn't pick one of the ones I already had done and then do it, because I would have been published faster. But Amber's like, no, let's do this, because I don't know. I just wanted to do this first. I don't know. What does literary success look like to you? literary success to me is when like you're making a decent living off of selling your works and people are enjoying them, I guess. Oh, I'm getting sick. What's the best way to market your books? Don't ask me because I'm confused. No, the best way to market your books in my opinion is, well, maybe buy some author copies and sign them and hand them out to people and let them spread the word of mouth. Word of mouth is really good. Also, have a fan page, an Instagram page maybe, or a Facebook page or something, and update stuff on there. And then whenever, you know, just kind of like that. I think that helps a lot. And do the promotions on there. I was doing the promotions on there, but I'm really low on money right now, so we're not, because I'm about to move, so I'm like really low on money. I'm about to move back to my hometown and I'm like, oh god, here we go. What kind of research do you do and how long do you spend researching before beginning a book? Okay, I did the outline for the entire series before I started writing the first book, but I had to do a lot of research. For those of you who don't know, this is a book based around Roman mythology, but also I incorporated Slavic mythology, French mythology, and what's this? Norse? No, I think it was Slavic, like I said, into this book at least. But the outline, because we'll just extinguish the outline, that I had to do research on all kinds of mythos from every corner of the world. It took a while. However, this did come in handy because in freshman year, I was in a little town, but I had moved because I was moving a lot during this time. I've moved 16 times in my life and I'm only 21 years old, and most of these had happened the last like 5 years. So I had moved. I'm trying to get through these fast, I'm so sorry. I had tried to move, and we had to go to this class where it was an English class, but half of the semester you had to take a class on Roman and Greek mythology. So I was very familiar with Roman mythology and Greek mythology, but nothing else. So the book's solely based around Roman mythology. So, I mean, I kind of mixed a bunch together to make, to mix it all like that. But I had to do a lot of research on that. And I feel like you have to do research on everything. The sequel, doing even more research, finding out broadsword fighting, things about Bakugan, just a bunch of random things. Anyway, so I would say I would spend at least 5 to 6 hours researching something just for making the outline. And that depends on what it is. I don't know, because this I kind of knew about already, so I didn't have to research it as hard. But I did have to research, and it probably about 5 or 6 hours, we'll just say, for this one. Because this one was pretty, and then I had to look up some places and climate. So you view writing as a kind of spiritual practice. I think it is very relaxing to me, and I do like it. What's the most difficult thing about writing characters of the opposite sex? To me, it's not hard. I don't know. What do you guys think? Read my book and tell me. I don't know. I like writing guys, but it's hard for me to kind of I have to try to pick what kind of guy they're gonna be. And to me it's just like writing a girl, but you have to make up their character arc. They don't all have to be strong manly men, just like all girls don't have to be strong girls, which is annoying. Your character doesn't have to be strong and hardcore. Okay, chill out. You gotta remember, at least in my situation, they're 15-year-olds, so they're not gonna be champions of the universe at 15. So we've gotta chill. How long were you a part-time writer before you became a full-time writer? I am still a part-time writer. Hello, welcome to this channel. My name is Amber Nicole Holster, and I can't do this as a living yet, but hey, we're trying. How many hours a day do you write? The normal days when I'm not working, which hasn't been for a while now, unemployment joke, probably 6 to 8 hours straight, because once I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone, and I kind of, lose track of time. What period of your life do you find you write about often? Child, teenager, young adult? I don't know. I feel like I write a lot about, the teenagers, from 14 to 18, but then I kind of feel like I write about young adults a lot. I feel like it's pretty even. I've never written about a child, ever. Like, my youngest character I've ever written in a story was like 13 years old. I've never written about a child. Which 13 is not considered a child. No, that's a teenager. But I wouldn't mind writing about either one. I've written a lot about teenagers because I like writing about high school because I hated high school. And I'm like, I feel you. What did you edit out of this book? Oh, fun question. Okay, I've edited 2 storylines out of this story. And I edited in probably 3 characters that weren't originally in it. I took out 3 chapters at least probably, and I replaced the last chapter completely. So yeah, a lot has came out of this book that was originally supposed to be in it. Have you read anything that made you think differently about fiction? Not really. What are the ethics of writing about historical figures? Okay, I've never wrote about a historical figure, and I probably never will because I don't want to be disrespectful. But to me, if you're going to write about a historical figure, keep it respectable, like, you know, as respectable as that person deserves. You know, like if you're writing about Hitler, knock yourself out, you know. Like, he doesn't deserve much, okay? So, yeah, okay. But if you're writing about, like, Abraham Lincoln, let's be coy about this because, you know, he's important. Okay, how do you select the names of your characters? All right, I'm going to show you guys a secret. Hold on. Okay, I have a big book of novel ideas because I'm forever expired. So I'll go to the very end of the book here. And I have a bunch of names written down. I've got a couple pages, so I'll randomly pick a page. I'll close my eyes and I'll do this. And I look at the name and that becomes the name of the character. So, Cressida would be the name of the next character. So we're gonna go to the last name section. All right, so the last name section, here we are. So what we're gonna do now is put our finger on a random name. Okay, Baxter. Okay, so that is the name of our new character. That's how I pick names for characters. Fun, right? Out there. If you didn't write, what would you do for work? Well, considering this is my own work right now, I don't know. Probably work at Target, to be honest, because I'm not very smart, so I probably better not try college. My parents are weeping right now. Do you read your book reviews? How do you deal with bad or good ones? I don't have book reviews yet because people are still reading my book. But yes, I will, and I would deal with good or bad ones by trying to improve my writing. That's how I would do that, because I want to hear good and bad because I want to know what I need to improve. All right. Do you hide any secrets in your books that only few people will find? I don't think I do. If I do, I don't know. I don't try to. What was the hardest scene to write in this book? I'm gonna say Bonds in Time. The hardest scene to write. Yes. Chapter 16, The Night of the Comet. Okay, that was the hardest chapter for me to write because it was a battle scene, kind of. Sorry, spoilers! And I'm still working on that because there was a lot of characters, because I've never written a story with so many characters. So I don't know why I chose something so hard, like right out of the gate, but I did. Okay. Do you Google yourself? I used to when I was younger, but now I don't. I used to do it for fun. Okay, what one thing would you give up to become a better writer? Anything. What are your favorite literary journals? I don't know what that means, and I feel pretty stupid for not knowing what it means. Gonna skip it. What is your favorite childhood book? Rainbow Fish? I don't know. What is the most difficult part of your artistic process? Hate the ending. Because then you're like, oh, it's ending. It's a good feeling, but I hate writing endings. Even if it's not a sad ending, it's just an ending. I hate writing endings. I don't know. That, to me, that's the hardest part. And does your family support your career as a writer? Okay, well, let's see. I don't think any of them actually believed I would do this, or because I've been talking about it over a year. I was like, I'm going to publish this book. And no one was really super believable. I could tell by the way they were acting. They were kind of like, oh, okay, good job, all right. And then when I did it, they were like, then everyone's supportive all of a sudden, I guess because they didn't think I would actually do it. And I don't know why, because I've never really done anything except wait on getting my license and going to college that would like make them think that I was just kidding. I don't know, but I don't know, they bought books and they were like, oh, it's amazing, and they were telling their friends and stuff. So they're supportive now, but at the beginning I didn't really think they were. Here we go. If you had to do something differently as a child or teenager to become a better writer as an adult, what would you do? Probably write what I want to write and not try to write what I think people would like, because that's what I did and it didn't go anywhere. It was just on notebooks. But now that I read them, I've thrown away lots of stories because they were horrible, because I was like, oh my god, why did I write this? It's so bad and it's just nasty. Something about me and my writings in junior high. 3 words: sexual, dirty, and boring. For no reason either. How long on average does it take you to write a book? This book took me 8 months to write, but I was like screwing around and trying to get it published. But 8 months for this one. Okay, do you believe in writer's block? Do not ask whether they've had writer's block. What? I guess this is a questionnaire for people. Okay. I don't believe writer's block is a thing. I've never had it. And to me, writer's block is you don't feel like writing the next scene. The only way I think you could have writer's block is if you don't do an outline, which I do an outline, because if not, I'll forget where my story is going, because I'm forgetful. So I have to write an outline personally because I'll forget. I will forget where the story's headed, so I have to write an outline, and I have to, like, you know, do it very detailed, so I don't want plot holes. And so I had to write an outline. To me, if you have an outline, you won't be having writer's block because you know where the story's going. To me, writer's block is just being lazy. Let's be real, I've had laziness before where you're just like, God, I don't want to write this chapter, or I don't want to write this scene. It's gonna drag on forever. I'm like that with battle scenes. I was like, I don't want to write this scene, but I'm like, here we go, let's do this. Because I've never had writer's block a day in my life, because you always know where your story is going to go. The only way you can have writer's block is if you're about to start a whole new book and you don't know what idea to use. Like, to me, that is the only time you're like, God, I don't know what to write. Because it's like, well, where do I go from here? Like, then I understand. Because you're like, well, where do I go from here? Like, that makes sense. Because you're like, well, what story do I go with next? Or I don't know what to write anymore. If you're, like, fresh out of ideas, then you can have writer's block. But while you're writing, that's not writer's block. That's laziness. And I'm admitting to it because I've had laziness multiple times. I'm sorry if this is boring. I tried to make this kind of intriguing. I hope it was. If it's not, I'm sorry. I'm very bad at endings, so let's just end it abruptly. How about that?